Apologies for that, just got called away quite quickly. So, advantages of having a prepaid funeral plan. So we covered the 2 points. The final thing to say then, as arrangers, does it make your life easier when we have a prepaid funeral plan in front of us to work from? I would imagine the answer is always going to be yes. The wishes are down. If there are issues within a family, siblings, split marriages, new families, if there's a plan in place, a funeral plan in place that states what that person wanted, it's going to solve all potential issues regarding what that person wanted. So having it in place to try and eradicate conflict situations can only be a positive and a beneficial thing. So those are the points regarding prepaid funerals. I think from experience of actually doing prepaid funerals with families, it can often be a really positive experience, quite a light time with the family. Obviously, there's not a difficult or sad situation. Usually, it's planning for the future. On rare occasions, we do have to sit down with people that have got a terminal illness, and that can be very difficult. But I often think what an absolute privilege it is for us to be able to do that with somebody who's critically ill. I've got an experience. I went to Seven Hospice, a hospice near me here, and I went to see a lady who had 3 or 4 days to live. She wanted to pay for it all there and then, but I spent probably half an hour, 40 minutes just talking to her about her family, about her hobbies, and from that, again, we incorporate lots of that into the funeral service, obviously with the family's permission. But I drove home in tears, but actually, for me, that's one of the most special parts of this job for me. Really, was doing that. And looking back, difficult but very moving and special. So I think actually, if it gives us the opportunity to speak to families early on about what can be done in a funeral service as well, and it's given that family, that individual, control about their funeral, rather than just going off what the children have seen before, and then having to try and meet that expectation of people, of aunt so and so that saw mom every so often, or it'd be best to have that certain coffin to keep everyone happy. Well, actually, if I sit down with the person who's actually making the funeral plan, you can get so much more into it. You can get so much more detail, because when it's for you, it's a different aspect to rather than arranging a funeral for somebody else. It is how I would take it, really. So prepaid funerals then. There's obviously from a business point of view, prior to prepaid funerals, funeral directors never had a sales book effectively, but now obviously lots of funeral directors have that potential money set aside, which can add value to business. I have been told though by accountants that it doesn't actually increase the value of a business. Prepaid money doesn't, which, when you think about it, it makes sense, because I suppose the only people it increases the value of a business is the people that hold the money, the trust fund effectively. So for ourselves, a small to medium sized business, money should be kept in a trust fund for legal purposes. There are some funeral directors out there who have their own trust funds. Obviously there is the management of that, the running costs of that, but if it's cost effective, then it could be a brilliant idea, really. And actually, your value of the business is shown based on the plans sold. So for us here, all the plans we've sold, the accountant's view is that will only be shown as an asset when we actually have that money in our bank accounts, which obviously is correct. Again, it all depends on the size of your business, so bear that in mind. Moving forward then. So consumer regulations. So this is the 14-day calling off contracts. Some of you will know about this, some of you won't. Hopefully you will know about it, but you may not be doing it. It is a legal requirement to be doing the 14-day calling off contracts when you're providing a service at someone's home, and that service costs more than £45. I need to check that. If it's over that sort of figure, you should be providing a contract for them to be able to cancel your work. So that gives the consumer 14 days to cancel your services. The question that often comes up, well, surely if the funeral service has taken place within that 14 days, what happens then? Well, obviously, if it's taken place, there's nothing you can do about that. They can't choose somebody else if the burial or cremation has already taken place. That's very obvious and straightforward. What can be done though, a consumer has the right to change a funeral directors. If it's within 14 days, the funeral service hasn't taken place, the funeral directors though has the right to charge that family for the services they've already carried out. So usually, at the point, I'd say usually, I don't use the word usually really, because there's always a first time for everything. The cost of the removal is probably the item you'll see the most being charged out for. Some funeral firms might charge a storage fee. I'm not sure what my view on that is, but again, it's each to their own. So cost of the removal, cost of coffin, you could argue that one. Well, they could argue that. I think that'll be it. Cost of the removal fee. Again, removal fees vary, so bear that in mind. So the 14-day calling off contract for your exam, you will be required to present to the examiner or applicant next of kin the 14-day calling off contract. I'm aware some of you will have those 14-day calling off contracts incorporated into your arrangement forms. Some of you will not have them. If you do not have them, please email me and I will send you a copy of the NAFD 14-day calling off contract, which you can put your headed paper on and you're done, you're sorted. In the exam, all you need to do is hand that to the examiner and obviously explain to them that they have the right to cancel your services within 14 days. Any service you provide within those 14 days, you, as the funeral arranger and director, have the right to charge for those services. That's it. Obviously, in your syllabus, you will have there is a section on that as well, if you want to go into more detail. But as I explained there, it's all covered. Finally, the last slides in the presentation here is potential financial assistance. So who can apply and what are the qualifying means tested benefits? So if you get a page in your syllabus, page 21. So you've got, I'll go for the headers here with you. So first, Department for Work and Pensions, the DWP. In here it states about who is eligible for that. And to the qualifying means for the DWP payments, you've got income support, job seekers allowance, allowance pension credits, housing benefits, council tax benefits, working tax credits, and child tax credit as well. That's in the syllabus there. Have a look though on page 22 and 23. You've also got as well the local health authority, NHS, the local authority. You've got war pensions, employers' pension schemes, trades unions, associations, clubs and other groups, charities. You've also got now as well, so people such as Sky, if you're an employee of Sky, you are now eligible for a large contribution towards funeral costings. Those vary in costs. So that's something to look at now. More and more companies and businesses are giving their staff those benefits if they are to pass away within their working life. I'm not sure if it goes through to after their work as well, but it's worth having a look at. And that's a good opportunity as well. I'm not sure if within the funeral industry, do we need to do a piece of work on collating all these benefits, all these companies together in one list. So when we find out the occupation of the deceased, at that point, oh, he was an electrician, oh, who did he work for? Was he self-employed? Oh, no, actually he worked for Sky. and then straight away you got your opening, or just make you aware, because I do wonder how many people aren't aware of what they're allowed to get. So that could be a piece of work worth looking at there. Also as well, pages 29 and 31 goes into more details regarding probate, letters of administration. So have a look at that as well. It's worthwhile getting your teeth into that and getting your knowledge up. Other than that, there's more information on wills there as well, page 37. So that concludes Module 5, Unit 14. So what I'm going to do now is go straight into the coursework for you now to discuss what's required in that. So this piece of work will be emailed to you along with this email. Get it open for you. So Module 5 then, the coursework is on finance. This is very straightforward. It's asking you to do a report, again 2,000 words, plus or minus 10%. And it's broken down into 4 sections. So as previous pieces of coursework, my advice is to use titles for this again, so you can't miss anything. It makes my life easier as well, so that's always good. So description of policies and procedures for paying for funerals, including DWP funerals and prepayments. So again, how do you as a company, as a business, or as an individual, how do you deal with that? What are your procedures with that? Part 2 of the report, description of policies and procedures for invoicing, receipting, debt management and non-payments. So again, how do you deal with that? What do you do? Part 3, description of procedures for clients with limited funds. Again, how do you manage that? So if they're asking for 4 limousines, do you just say, yeah, no problem at all, have 5? Or do you actually say, well, you know what, you mentioned you got limited funds, perhaps we can look at just using your own vehicles. So that is a responsible way for somebody with limited funds, in my opinion. And the final piece here, description of procedures for price, flexibility, and telephone quotes. So how do you deal with price flexibility? Well, firstly, can you deal with it? Certain companies, large companies, aren't able to deal with price flexibility. Or they might say, actually, you got this much money to play with. So have a think about that, what your procedures are. And telephone quotes. So how do you deal with that now? So we're in a culture now in society where more calls are coming through for prices. When my dad started in the industry, he probably never received a phone call about costs. My granddad probably never received a single call about costs, I imagine. Obviously, time now is progressing. We discussed this already in the previous units about how things are changing. So how do we deal with those? Do we deal with them? Do we send them an email? Do we just say that's what it is? Do you get into a bidding war? Discuss. And then the 5th column here is about spelling, grammar, structure and presentation. All I would ask again, on the template I send you, please remember to fill in page 2 as well. So page 1, as it says, it's your details, my details. I put my little signature on there as well. Page 2, it also asks to put your name in there as well. If you can, please ensure that goes in there as well, so it's all tidy when I receive it. So that is Module 5, Finance. That is the report. The log, as before, 750 words. In there as well, think about what could you do to improve your services, or as an individual again. So it could be such as your company. If somebody has limited funds, you won't be able to take the funeral on. That might be a scenario. Is there anything you could do to take them on, that family? Regarding telephone quotes, do you just say, that's it, end of discussion? Is there anything you could do as a company to be better? As an individual, do you know enough about DWP payments? If you don't, that could be your area to improve upon. That could be your area of reflection. So have a think about that. So yeah, I think you've got plenty there to work on there, really. So any questions though, just send over emails to me. I can answer them, or just call through to me. We can talk through it again over the phone. But that will now enable you to complete Module 5 Finance. I hope you found it useful, this video. As I say, I prefer to sit down and get debates going and all kicking off. But unfortunately, as I say, due to the situation, we can't do that. Hopefully, over the next few weeks, this lockdown will be lifted and we can sit down and get through the arrangements again soon. But until then, this will just allow you to just keep things ticking over in the background and keep the progress up with the coursework. But yes, keep well, keep safe, and speak to you soon. Thank you.